All right, so just after watching what I just sent, this is what I do a lot. My dad thinks it's really funny. I have old managers from previous jobs, like who used to get really frustrated with me because I'm so, like, I guess especially when I'm on point and I'm not depressed, I feel it's very important to be as detailed as possible when I tell a story, because when I hear a story, I like to hear every detail. Like, I guess in a book, although I'm not a reader, but like I'm very audio. Like, I can tell a story verbatim if I hear it, which is just something I realized recently. But um, I have a boss, for example, when I lived in New York, before cell phones and stuff, I'd like, take all these calls and organize things and stuff. I would leave, and then I would leave him like 4-minute messages. And it was like right when cell phones were becoming big. And so, like, I think he had one, but he didn't have time in the airport to like listen to a 4-minute message about whose mother called, what time, and what she was wearing. Like, that's how I am. But I did miss some really important things about the hormone thing, so I need to go back to that. So my situation literally um, came to fruition or started rearing its ugly head right when I stopped breastfeeding my second one. And I feel like maybe it kind of came up, although I was more depressed with the first one. I definitely had more postpartum with the first one. And I remember telling my sister, who had had a baby like the year before and gone through it, and I don't think she was on meds, like she's just had a really good support system with her in-laws. One of her sister-in-law actually told me about a play group, and so I got involved in that, and just getting super involved and continue to walk with the stroller and the jogger and stuff kept me sort of okay. But then we moved into another house and I had the second one, and what happened, I remember this. I went into labor at night. Like, I started sort of having my contractions at 9:30, and so I was all through the night in labor, and she came in the morning, and then we were up the whole next day. And even my husband, like, I remember he went home to walk the dog, and our neighbor was like, "Congrats, what's her name?" And he couldn't even remember. Like, that's how exhausted we were. So you can imagine when we came home to all of that, and it was a newer house, the chaos. And I didn't have any help from my mom, very limited support, and we were isolated in an older neighborhood, so it was all of that, the dark house. I breastfed for just over a year, maybe 14 months, and I started having to start working again in real estate. And when I went off, I didn't go off the antidepressant. When I had to go back to work, and literally after her birthday party, so it was right around a year, and I was weaning off, I made like a pot of coffee at 4 to go with cake. I drank coffee and I did not sleep for literally 2 or 3 days. I couldn't sleep because I was so stressed out about going back to work, and it wasn't even full time. So I can only imagine how the moms who had to go back full time. But so my point is, it was very hormone induced. So I guess the lack of estrogen, maybe, or whatever's going on when you stop breastfeeding and not having the oxytocin and all that, threw me into, I don't even know what it was. It was extreme anxiety. My sister was giving me, she never gave me Xanax, but she gave me some Ativan just because I could not cool it. And then I worked with a really stressful buyer, and I became friends with the wife, but they had a lot of requirements and all that, and it just was a lot. And I had a lot of stress because, my ex had to like take the helm like on the weekends. He wasn't excited about that. And so here I am still trying to figure it out 15 years into it. And that's because I've been in perimenopause. We've moved several times. I didn't have a support system. And like, so it's all of that. And I'm not running anymore. And I was just doing yoga for a while. So it's like all that combined. But I wanted to touch on this OBGYN out of Texas. I forget her name, but she's super knowledgeable. And I watch her videos. She has a special diet for people our age, just like, and one of the things she talks about is intermittent fasting. And the other thing is white wine is like our enemy. You will put on a lot of weight if you drink white wine. And so I've also been down the rabbit hole of, dealing with I guess my addictions. I've been in denial about the drinking, but I would say I have coexisting illnesses. So I definitely self-treated just because I don't want to take all this medicine. So I'm just like my mom, and the culture of my family was to drink, and it's more fun and I'm more fun. So I've done that. I'm not drinking at all. Like I can't, first of all, and I did have like a couple drinks here and there in June, and it did set me up. And those are some of the videos I'm posting now. I'm not totally delusional, but I'm definitely manic and like being weird and talking to my phone and submitting it on this common thread to an old friend of mine who is just like, so now I have a place to put all of that, and I appreciate it. But with the hormone, this OBGYN out of Texas, and even like some very well-read people like my dad's girlfriend, they have done extensive research on the hormonal things and hormonal stuff for older women and more mature women. And the bioidentical is the way to go. If that's too expensive, synthetic is totally fine. Actually, they've done several studies. And since that study came out and they stopped doing hormonal treatment, the interesting thing is that women they decided, because they didn't want to give people cancer, they have put women on antidepressants instead, and the suicide rate between the ages of 40 and like 55 or even 60 for women have gone up dramatically. And so that should indicate how imperative and how it's very important to do your research on hormonal therapy, because even though I'm a little off, I have been taking it, and the people who I know are taking it are doing just great. And my sister, she's been taking it for 15 years. She looks amazing at almost 65, and she just started weaning off then. So that's it. Wish me luck at work. Thank God it's Friday, and I'm going to go to Evolve and get another, I'm going to delve down to the rabbit hole of taking an antipsychotic, so I will probably be down for the count all weekend, and I'll just post videos, and I think I'm going to see my sister. So happy Friday, and thanks for listening.